What is up, everybody? It is Quintinia Trader here. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd. I took two trades today. The first trade that I took was a bit of a small loss. The second trade I took was a win, which put me green on the day. And let's go into why I took each one. So, overnight, we had yesterday we had a very strong move down. We had this market structure shift on the 4-hour chart. Okay. So, just based off of that, I started to feel like we might get some kind of a retracement. I fully understood that on the daily time frame, we had a daily fair value gap that we were trading inside of, so we could have potentially pushed out of it, but I wanted to see the 4-hour align with that same bias as the higher time frame. So coming into today, we could see that the 10 o'clock candle actually, or the 2 a.m. candle, closed above this 4-hour imbalance right here, which showed that the order flow was now bullish. Okay, so overall, it went from being bearish order flow to now being bullish order flow again because of the fact that we invalidated this. If we were going to continue heading down lower, I would have expected this to have held. Now that's just on the 4-hour. On the hourly chart, I was still bearish because there was really nothing here that would tell us to look for a move higher, since we did come down lower and start looking like we were going to end up heading towards that 105 level right there. We were also inside of this hourly fair value gap. So with that, I figured at 10 o'clock we were going to get an open, high, low, close candle, which unfortunately we didn't, right? I wasn't able to capitalize on the move up. I still ended up taking shorts, which worked out, but this was the main reason why. I figured we were going to have bearish order flow, bearish structure on the hourly. The 4-hour, even though we did invalidate that 4-hour FEG, the structure was still bearish to me. Now on the 15-minute chart, I was not going to entertain longs at all today unless we invalidated this 15-minute fair value gap right here. So because we moved on up at the market open, respected that, and started to head down lower, my bias coming into the 950 macro was bearish. I was expecting us to continue heading down lower, trying to target this level of liquidity here at 105. Oops. So let's take a look at the 1-minute chart and see what the entry could have been according to the trading model. So I took an incorrect entry here where I did not notice this 1-minute FEG right here. Had I noticed that, it was moving on up. We had bearish structure. We invalidated this 1-minute FEG right there, which would have signaled us to move into shorts. The entry would have been here, stop above the swing high, and that would have hit a 1 to 2 relatively quick. There was really no reason not to take this. Everything was aligning that it was going to be bearish today in this macro. Now, I did not notice this FEG. I actually noticed this one. And so when price invalidated this FEG, I entered in here. Price, was very stagnant, not really moving much. Here, I did not like the fact that we moved back on up and invalidated this 1-minute FEG. So when price started to shoot on up here, I actually closed it at a small loss in this area. And then I was watching to see what price was going to do. And I'm glad that I did exit out of that trade because, well, that would have gotten stopped out. It's unfortunate that I did not notice this FEG right here. That should have been the entry that I would have taken because it seemed so obvious that it wanted to head down lower into that draw on liquidity. So I would have taken off the majority of my position at a 1 to 1.5. So I would have gotten out around here at this candle. And then I would have put my stops to break even. If it hit a 1 to 2, I probably would have taken off another contract, and then the rest would have gotten stopped out of break even. So this here was an A+ setup according to my trading model, so this would have worked out. Now coming into the next macro here, this was an even better setup. I wouldn't say this is A+ because the FEG formed outside of the macro, so this would have been an A setup. This would have been an A+ setup for me because this here now has a 1-minute FEG inside of the macro. It was created inside of the macro, and the IFEG was also created inside the macro. So usually when that happens, I tend to get a very rapid or very good setup overall. So here, this was the trade that I took, which made back this loss. I took it off, like I said, at a 1.5, which in this market I've been doing, taking a 1 to 1.5 just to be able to have a consistent amount of money every single time. And as you can see, this trade did work out as a retracement. Unfortunately, the order flow started to want to change. I traded this short as well because we tapped back into this 15-minute fair value gap and we hadn't invalidated it yet. So because of that, I decided to not take longs. I wanted to go for shorts since the order flow was still bearish on the hourly, the 15-minute, and the 4-hour was still switching. It was bullish order flow, but the structure was still bearish. So I expected us to move lower. So now coming into this macro, of course, what you would be looking for would be longs. And according to my trading model, there was no entry here. And then at this point at New York PM session, you would also be looking for a long entry, which again, like I said, I'm looking for an IFEG to get formed inside the macro, or if not immediately before the macro, or an IFEG getting invalidated inside the macro from outside of it. And unfortunately, there was no entry here in this PM session macro as well. Honestly, taking a look here at the last hour, there was, but with this rapid move on up, I would have wanted a better retracement down into a higher time frame PD array to then take a long, which I probably would have gotten stopped out on something like this. I don't usually trade this one just because it's been hit or miss. It seems that the move tends to stop you out and then moves in the direction you're looking for, which we also had earnings here in the aftermarket hour or after hours. So I would not have taken anything here, but the two setups I would have taken were the ones that I did take. I got stopped out on this one, misread it. This one, I got my profit target, so it put me very green on the day, and I was very happy with that. So hopefully you guys ended up green today, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.